millionaires don't really look at numerology, but billionaires do.
Of course.
Can you kind of explain that a little bit?
Oh, I mean, here's the thing. The millionaires are just people living good. You can't really do too much in life politically or do anything with a couple $1 million, especially in the Biden inflation area.
Right.
Billionaires, at that point, you pretty much can buy everything you want, private jets, couple houses, couple mansions. Usually when people get to that level, the next step is, okay, I got wealth. Now I want power. And Patrick Bet-David's a perfect example of this. He has about 300 mil.
Yep.
And again, he made it through insurance and stuff like that.
Good on
And he decided that he wants to basically run for governor or run for senator. He wants the DeSantis job. So he did it very smart. Instead of going like these guys who are worth 100 million, 150 million, wasting 30, 40, 50 million on a campaign and then losing, hello, Mr. Bloomberg, you know, stuff like that.
Right.
He decided to make a name for himself with valuetainment, make podcasts, spend that money that way,
Making a
build
media
up, and even if he loses on valuetainment money, he doesn't care. Even if he loses it, because it's a slow bleed, and he's building his public persona to the point where in 2026, maybe 2024, he's going to run for elected office.
Interesting.
So I'm going to point that out right now. I believe Patrick Bet-David is using valuetainment to prop his ass up so he can run for either governor or senator. And again, I'm not saying he's a bad person for the job.
Right.
He'd probably do a lot better because he's a staunch conservative in many areas. But the fact of the matter is, that's what people like him do. Once they get to a certain level, someone will be like, okay, now I have everything I want. I want power now. Right. How do I get it? And this is how he gets it.
But he's kind of like an Arnold Schwarzenegger type. He's not a natural-born U.S. citizen, right?
Yes.
So
he can't be president. But
Right.
let's not forget that he can actually be in the president's cabinet.
Okay. Yep.
You know, there's ways around this stuff, man. And, you know, I remember in the very beginning of the Trump administration, there was one guy more powerful than Trump. His name was Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon was actually calling the shots. And that was flying for the first couple months until Trump saw that this guy was actually outshining him. Woo! Let me tell you something. You for Trump or against Trump, do not outshine that boy. That Trump likes the sound of his voice way too much to give anyone else the spotlight. You're talking about a man who actually Listen, it was October 22nd, 2016. I was VIP in the Cleveland rally. I saw him. He only spent about 30 seconds with me. I was the only one he spent time with. And I told him, numerology, astrology, you're going to win and you're going to become president. He looked at me like I was crazy. He smiled, but I did get invited to his inaugural ball at a very top level. In 2016, after he won, there was an inaugural ball at the White House. And 25 people were allowed in the downstairs ball, and then the top 5,000 people were allowed in the upstairs ball. I was one of those 5,000 people.
Nice.
There is 2 people there with bodyguards. One was Trump. Guess who the other one was? He's Las Vegas' own.
Oh, Dana White?
No. Las Vegas' own.
I don't know politicians in Vegas.
Not politician.
Okay. Huh.
Money team. Floyd.
Oh, Mayweather?
Floyd and Trump were the only 2 people with bodyguards.
Really?
In their inaugural ball, top level. We're talking about a room. I saw the Jets, New York Jets owner. I saw billionaires all over the place. I saw real fucking players. And the only 2 people with bodyguards were Trump and Floyd.
Floyd doesn't need it.
Yeah, well, the size of his bodyguards, he's got about like 380-pound Samoans.
Jesus.
Like working for him. People you don't want to fuck with, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'd rather fuck with Floyd than his bodyguards, in all honesty.
That's saying something, right? So now that we're talking a little bit about politics, Ed, so I know you had mentioned some stuff about the next election, and the next 1 year is going to be fucking ad nauseum about election stuff. And a lot of the stuff that's happening towards crypto will be flexes towards, you know, how different politicians feel about crypto next year going into an election year, right? You're going to get some people who are going to be like Elizabeth Warren banging the drum saying crypto's fucking evil.
The Indian, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And fraud.
We got her birthday up here today if we watch.
She's born on the 22nd.
Yeah.
Piece of garbage.
Exactly. And so then we got these other players, right? So I want you to paint the landscape a little bit about what you think is going to happen with the election next year in terms of who might be running and who you think might win, because you called the Trump one as well. And then we'll go into a couple politicians off of that basically have some effect on crypto. but also in different ways. So let's go.
All right. I mean, obviously, Donald Trump with the Republicans. Unfortunately, I backed him in 2016. And I don't mean it's unfortunate for 2016. I was his #1 supporter. I helped him win the state of Ohio. 2020, I was one of the first ones that said they stole the election from you. I was there at the White House December 2020, try to give, my best ways to keep him in the White House. It didn't work. But unfortunately, 2024 is not for Trump. 2024 is the year of the dragon. Trump is born in the year of the dog. Those are enemy signs. As much as I would have liked him to be president in 2020, 2024 is not for him. If he does become president, it will be an absolute disaster. And I'm talking about this as a Republican. As a staunch conservative, I'm way to the right. I'm way over here, man. I know Rush Limbaugh and Michael Savage. I'm to the right of them. So when it comes down to it, it hurts me to say this, but as an astrologer numerologist, the Republicans need a much more viable candidate than Donald J. Trump, and I believe the election was stolen from him. I personally went to Trump's people and asked him to become Speaker of the House. I'm like, listen to me, dude. And I try to, again, we're talking about the top people in the Trump White House, not Trump himself, but the top people there.
Administration.
And I kept saying, listen, if you're Speaker of the House, you can go after Biden. You can start impeachment hearings. And they can't go after you because you're part of the government. Why don't you do that? And what I got back from 3 different sources, he thinks the position of Speaker of the House is beneath him. I tried to explain to him and to his people that it's better to be a kingmaker sometimes than to be the king yourself. You could actually, as Speaker of the House, pick the next president, whether it be DeSantis or anyone else. They will be beholden to you. They would actually know that you put him in there. You couldn't be the man yourself, but you could pick the man. It wasn't good enough for him. So again, I think the Republicans need a more valuable candidate. Now on the Democratic side, Biden's done. Forget about that clown. He's like a dead animal on the side of the road. It doesn't really matter with him anymore. But when it comes down to the Democratic side, I mean, you got Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is a 7 life path, born 1967, year of the goat. I believe he's gonna probably be on the vice presidential side of it.
Kind of like Kamala Harris.
Yeah, except he's going to be much more powerful than Kamala Harris. I believe that it's going to end up being Michelle Obama, and I think she's going to pick him to be his vice president. I think he's probably going to, probably have to give him like $500 million to actually get in there.
Wow.
But shit, this shit ain't cheap. What do you think these people are spending hundreds of millions of dollars to run for a position that pays $400K? Nope. You make more fucking than that, dude. Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to say. If people are spending hundreds of millions to billions of dollars for a position that pays $400,000 as president of the United States, brother. If I have to be president, I'm going to take a massive pay cut, and so will you. Oh, yeah. So the fact of the matter is, the position there is made so people can steal, so people can make connections from it. That's why people do it. Again, she's the best stock trader of all time.
Yeah, right?
She doesn't miss. She really doesn't miss.
I think her IQ is like 180.
I mean, fucking Aladdin, the thing BlackRock has going for it isn't as good as Nancy Pelosi.
Right.
the fucking shit's crazy, man.
Yep. And Elizabeth Warren is totally innocent, right?
Oh God, dude. Yeah. Listen, when it comes down to Elizabeth Warren, you could tell this woman's a fraud. She came up attacking Hillary Clinton. That's what she did a decade ago. She went after the Clintons. Now she's part of the machine. She won't say a damn word about the Clintons anymore. She's over there sucking off Bernie. This is your political elite. This is absolute trash. But, going back to numerology, there's a lot of women born on the 22nd who have to be in Congress.
So she was born on this is assumed office, my bad. Let me see her birthday.
She's born on the 22nd.
Yeah, you're right. June 22nd, 1949. Yep.
Yeah, she's not going to win anything. Forget
Good. Is she going to be is she like an enemy sign to crypto or anything like that? Like maybe not to crypto, but like
but she's an enemy of capitalism.
Right.
So if you're an enemy of capitalism, you're an enemy of mine.
Yeah.
That's simple.
Crypto.
That's simple. And again, I want to make this abundantly clear. If I ever get in position of power, there's going to be something called the Grinberg Doctrine. And any communist country in the world will have sanctions on it. I don't give a fuck what they are. They're going to have sanctions. We need to put these communists to bed once and for all. You know, I don't know much about Spain. I've never been to Spain, but there's a guy in Spain I consider my hero. His name is General Franco. Okay. I think people should read up on Franco. And the thing he did best in life was kill communists. So that's a hero of mine.
I love it.